Sultan's Dream by Katy Haye. His dream was so vivid and enlivening, Sultan Bashar awoke to find himself perched on the end of his bed. His hands were outstretched, arrested in the act of rising to... What? Did he plan to exchange a kiss of peace with his angelic visitor? His lips twitched. He was the Sultan of Sudharain, but even he wouldn't dare so far. The curtains around his bed shifted, the gauze brushing his bare feet. Bashar rose and walked to the garden door. The marble was cool on his bare feet, the air warm despite the hour. The door opened silently. His guards had surely noticed his movements, but they were subtle enough not to intrude on his sudden wakefulness. Pausing on the threshold, he looked up. The sky was spangled with stars, the moon a sliver outshone by its brighter brethren. Tomorrow was new moon, a time of new beginnings. Perfect. He glanced aside where the palace buildings stretched into the distance. The urge to go to his son tingled at his feet. The boy would be sleeping, and there was little urgency. They had the rest of their lives, after all. But he had to do something. Inaction was impossible with the sudden knowledge thrumming through him. Prayer, succour and guidance. He found his favourite spot in his gardens and sank to his knees. When he closed his eyes, he found silent stillness. He didn't need God's counsel, nor guidance. The action he must take had never been clearer. A gentle breeze soughed through the leaves of a nearby fig tree. A shiver passed down his spine. Thankfulness, that could always be gladly shared with God. He touched his heart and let loose the words of gratitude that spilled from his heart to his tongue. When he'd finished, he sat back, palms settling on his thighs. He looked out at the garden, but what he saw was the vision he'd just experienced, the angel's words still echoing in his ears. A sound made him turn. Ahmed hurried towards him along one of the winding paths. His vizier paused a step away, bowed and straightened. A crease pinched his brows. "Serene Highness, are you well?" Bashar smiled and patted the ground beside him. "I've never been better. Join me." Ahmed hurried to comply, settling beside him, smoothing his robes around him. Bashar shifted to face his most trusted minister. "I had a vision. The angel Jariel came to me and told me that one of my sons will meet his soulmate and usher in a golden age for Sudharain." As he spoke the final words, he didn't hear his own voice, but that of the angel, telling him what the future held. Ahmed inhaled sharply. "One of?" Bashar's smile widened. He'd thought he wanted to be alone, but the guards were right to summon Ahmed. His vision had implications for the Sultanate. He needed to discuss how they would proceed. "Talal. My son Talal is blessed to be a soulmate and lead our nation, many years in the future." "God be praised," Ahmed nodded. "It's fortunate he's so young. There's plenty of time for him to be educated appropriately." Bashar felt again the urge to go to his son, to draw the boy onto his lap and whisper the words of the prophecy into his ear. But an early woken toddler would be cranky at the least. That could wait until morning. He glanced aside. The stars were already fading as night slipped away. His wait wouldn't be long. He felt the pause before Ahmed spoke, their long relationship giving him insight into the other man's thoughts. He could almost have predicted the next cautious words. "Forgive me, Highness. Are you very sure of the vision? It wasn't simply a dream?" His eyes betrayed his concern for Bashar's reaction, but he didn't plan to berate his vizier for being cautious. That was the man's job. Bashar nodded consideringly. "You know the way dreams are slippery, piecemeal things. By the time you've awoken, you can only remember wisps. Within moments, it's impossible to create a coherent whole." Ahmed nodded, understanding. Bashar smiled. "I remember every moment perfectly. I could narrate the whole scene for you, recite every word Jariel spoke." He closed his eyes and was back inside his bedchamber, staring at the light that was impossibly bright, hearing each word as it dropped into his mind. "I'm very sure it was guidance from God, not the product of an unguarded mind." Ahmed took a deep breath. "Blessed be." He faced Bashar squarely. "Will you tell the prince? Will you tell the court?" Another sound made them pause. The Sultan's chamberlain approached, carrying a tray with tea and a dish of dates. "Serene Sultan, Alam, dawn will be here shortly." Bashar sent him away with thanks. New moon. The day's fast would begin at sunrise. I shall announce that Talal is now my emir at tonight's feast, he told Ahmed as the other man poured tea for them both. The scent of peppermint bloomed in the air. Will you leave him with his mother? Ahmed asked. It was tradition for children to stay with their mothers in the harem until puberty, but there was no tradition for this situation. I shall have new quarters built for him. His mother can stay with him, although he'll spend an hour or two each day with me to learn statecraft and diplomacy. We must engage new tutors for him. His education should lack nothing. Of course, I'll draw up a shortlist. Ahmed cleared his throat. How much will you tell the emir? I shall tell him he'll meet his soulmate when he's older, and as a result he is made my heir. That will be the substance of my announcement to the court. More detail can come when he's older. Detail? Ahmed prompted delicately. His vizier wouldn't be offended if Bashar declined to tell him more. But it wasn't a secret. The moment he awoke, his vision became politics, as well as a part of Sudharain's history. Talal will meet his soulmate, who will come from across the sea. I'll engage a tutor to teach him how to speak Fortin, Ahmed promised. And, once he joins with his soulmate, their blessing will enable them to usher in a golden age for Sudharain. Ahmed smiled. There will be much celebration. I encourage it. Bashar glanced at the sky and took a final sip of his tea. Shall we say the dawn prayers together? I'm honoured to join you, Serene Highness. Once he was sure his son would have woken and eaten his own breakfast, Bashar summoned the new emir to join him. Lady Miriam, Talal's mother, stepped into his office, Talal in her arms. As the door closed behind them, she dipped a curtsy and set Talal down. The boy looked solemnly at Bashar and bent in a low bow without prompting. He'd turned 2 at the end of summer and was already showing great promise. Now it was Bashar's job to take that promise as far as it could go. Come here, Talal. The boy stepped towards him, bending in another bow when he reached his side. Bashar extended his hand and Talal gripped it in chubby fingers, pressing a kiss to its back. Then he waited, remarkably composed, meeting Bashar's gaze steadily. Bashar got to his feet and crossed to Miriam. His heart ached, straining to contain all his feelings. Taking her hands, he pressed a gentle kiss to her cheek. Thank you. You have given me a great gift. Miriam's eyes darted to Talal, then back to Bashar. She covered her confusion with a demure nod. All that I have is yours. Our son has a great future ahead of him. A slight twitch to her lips added curiosity to confusion. God willing. Bashar released Miriam's hands. I have news for both of you. He turned to ensure he had Talal's attention. I have decided that Talal is to be my heir. Miriam blinked. Talal stared up at him, head on one side. Bashar crouched to address his son. You know that Sudharain is sometimes blessed, when God wills it to be so, and creates soulmates. Talal nodded. Yes, Papa. I learned last night that you are one of those to be so blessed. Miriam gasped above them. You will meet your soulmate when you're older, and the blessing you receive from God will help you rule Sudharain wisely. The boy watched him wide-eyed. He was very young. Bashar couldn't be sure that he understood fully, but there was time enough for that. He straightened to meet Miriam's wide eyes. Is this true? Bashar nodded. I had a vision last night. Talal is blessed, and he is my heir from today. Miriam dropped a curtsy. I hardly know what to say. An announcement will be made at the feast tonight. Please keep the matter confidential until then. Of course, as you wish. You are a treasure, Miriam. You have raised him well, and I know you'll continue to do so. Miriam nodded. A hand crept over her belly. Perhaps there was a reason for our losses. Her voice broke on the last word. Today is for celebration, my love. He gathered up her hands to press a kiss to the backs. Mourn no more than you must. He turned back to his son and heir. Talal will spend the day with me. As you wish. I'll see you at dusk, Talal. The boy nodded. Es, Ummi. Come, Talal, I wish to talk to you. As Miriam left, Bashar moved to the low sofa set to one side and patted the spot beside him. Talal clambered up and sat, legs extended, watching him silently. You are now my heir. Do you know what that means? Talal met his gaze solemnly and shook his head. I'm your son, Baba. He nodded. You're my son, but being my heir is more than that. I have many sons, but only one heir. Talal continued to watch wide-eyed, drinking in his words. Bashar felt as though if he looked over his shoulder, he would see the angel Jariel standing behind them. He kept his focus on Talal. As my emir, you will be second only to me in this great nation. It will fall to you to lead and care for all our people. Can you do that? Talal sat taller, his small chest puffing out proudly. Es, Baba. Bashar's chest tightened again. What a privilege it would be to see what this boy became. There is much to learn. Are you ready to start? Talal nodded, eyes bright. Es, Baba. Bashar nodded. Let's start with some stories of Sudharain's soulmates. Do you know the tale of Shivana and Avanti? A tap at the door lifted Bashar from his absorption in telling Talal the story of his great-grandmother, Sultana Layla, Sudharain's most recent royal soulmate pairing. Ahmed opened the door and bowed. Serene Highness, it's nearly noon. Lady Naisha will expect to join you for prayers. Should I tell her not to attend? No, I will tell her of my decision before the announcement tonight. He owed her that courtesy, and he only hoped she would accept his news with grace. Barely 5 minutes later, another knock heralded the arrival of his eldest daughter, and until today his heir. Lady Naisha rose from her bow and frowned. Talal, what are you doing here, bothering Baba? Run along to your ummi, little brother. Naisha turned, as though expecting to find Miriam lurking in a corner. No, Talal will stay. He belongs at my side. I have news for you, daughter. Serene Highness? Her aspect changed entirely. She had no idea what he was about to say, but she already sensed she wouldn't like it. Well, she would need to understand the bigger picture, as one raised to rule always must. I had a vision in the night, and my choice of heir has changed as a result. Naisha went completely still. Bashar simply waited. His daughter took a deep breath. Her jaw worked as her gaze darted to Talal, busy moving the beads on the abacus on his desk to and fro. Please tell me you're not picturing Talal as your heir. You forget yourself, he stated calmly. Naisha's jaw worked again. He's a child, she spat. As were you when I selected you to be my heir. But you also knew my choice was liable to change. Naisha sank to her knees, head bowed. Forgive me, Serene Highness. Have I displeased you? He rested a hand on her head, a pang of regret twisting behind his ribs. A shame a nation couldn't have more than one ruler, but that was impossible. Such a thing would invite dissent and division. Not at all, he assured Naisha. You are a fine, intelligent and compassionate young woman. It's nothing you've done. Yet Talal is promoted above me. She glanced again in the boy's direction. Your brother is destined to meet his soulmate. That changes everything. You know our stories. When soulmates ruled, the country took strides forward. Everyone knew that, even a child as young as Talal. He has a soulmate? Naisha glanced around. Who? He will meet them when he's older. So it might not even happen. It will happen. God wills it. Naisha straightened. Bashar read indignation in the set of her shoulders. Perhaps I'll have a soulmate too. Bashar shook his head. An angel visited me in the night with the news. Talal will find his soulmate and usher in a golden age for Sudharain. An angel? Naisha looked up, doubt clouding her eyes. Are you making Talal your heir because of a dream? Anger sparked, but he let it fade away. It was not a dream. God has blessed Talal, and he is my heir from today. And I'm left with nothing. You are still my daughter. I will ensure that you can serve the Sultanate in line with your abilities. Naisha stiffened. You're kind, she snapped, her tone arguing the opposite. Come now, such childishness doesn't suit you. An announcement will be made at tonight's feast. I hope you will have recovered your equanimity by then. Naisha rose to her feet, avoiding his gaze. Forgive me, Baba. I don't feel well. I shall remain in my rooms tonight. Bashar's patience stretched. Naisha was better than this, or so he'd always thought. If you don't attend, your actions will reflect only on yourself. Such petulance is not what I raised you for. No, she faced him finally, her expression twisted in fury. You raised me for nothing, apparently. She flounced out. Bashar frowned. He'd anticipated shock, perhaps disappointment. But he hadn't thought Naysha would react so badly. His priority was the good of the Sultanate, and Naysha should understand that. If she were truly worthy to be his heir, she would have understood and stepped aside graciously. Baba? Talal slipped a soft hand into his larger one, staring up at his face. Ummi will give Lady Naysha a nap, and then she'll feel better. Bashar choked on a laugh. I'm sure she will. He wasn't sure of anything of the sort, but it was for him to sort out matters with his eldest daughter. Any rift was none of Talal's concern. He straightened. It's nearly time for midday prayers. Do you know the words? Yes, Baba. Good. Let's go into the garden. Vizier Ahmed will join us. They walked outside together, to a garden filled with sunshine and the call of birds in the trees. The fountain bubbled a few steps away. Bashar took a deep breath and smiled. The bells rang out from deep inside the palace, marking midday. He sank to his knees, Ahmed on his right and Talal on his left. Ahmed began to recite the prayers, Talal's high voice chiming in a moment later. Peace filled his heart. So much of being the Sultan meant making the decisions and finding the answers, whether or not you were confident in them. He was the person everyone turned to for solutions. He didn't mind. It was what he'd been raised for. But it was pleasant at a moment like this to feel that he was safely cradled in the arms of something so much bigger and mightier than himself. He was human. Sultan or not, he could and would falter. But that didn't matter. In the end, all would be well, for God ordained it so. He closed his eyes and let the familiar words wash over him, while his soul soared. That was The Sultan's Dream by Katy Haye. Click follow to be notified when a new video is posted up. A new video goes live every Friday. Thanks for listening.